there's a particular kind of silence that greets you in the morning when you've lost all respect for yourself. It isn't the peaceful quiet of a sleeping house. It's a heavy, pressurized silence. It's the silence of a courtroom after the verdict has been read. And the verdict was guilty. You open your eyes, and for a split second, there's a flicker of amnesia, a moment of pure being, and then the memory rushes in. The memory of what you did, or what you failed to do. The memory of the person you became, a stranger you never wanted to meet. And in that moment, the weight of your own judgment presses down on your chest, making the simple act of breathing feel like a deliberate, conscious effort. You lie there, and you know that today you will have to avoid mirrors, because looking into your own eyes feels like an act of confrontation you simply do not have the strength for. This isn't just about feeling disappointed in yourself. This is something far deeper, something structural. We build our lives on a story about who we are. I'm a good person. I'm reliable. I'm someone people can count on. These aren't just thoughts. They are the load-bearing walls of our entire inner world. Self-respect is the foundation that this house is built upon. It's the quiet certainty that at our core, we are aligned with something true and decent. And when you do something that shatters this belief, it's not just a crack in the wall. The entire structure collapses. The roof caves in, the walls turn to dust, and you are left sitting in the rubble of your own identity. It's a void, an absolute echoing emptiness, where self used to be. The engine that powered your life, ambition, pride, the desire to be seen as good, has just ceased. It's silent. And the fuel line that fed it, the precious fuel of self-worth, has run completely dry. And here is the most profound and baffling paradox of it all. You still get up. Your legs swing over the side of the bed. Your feet find the floor. You walk to the bathroom. You turn on the faucet. You brush your teeth. The movements are robotic, hollowed out. There's no purpose behind them, no feeling of accomplishment. It's just a body, following a sequence of old habits. This is the great mystery. We are taught that motivation, purpose, and self-respect are the essential fuels for life. So what is this? What is this strange, quiet force that animates the body when the mind has completely disowned it? It's a ghost in the machine. You watch your own hands make coffee. You feel the warmth of the mug, but the warmth doesn't reach you. You are observing your life from a great distance, a spectator to a movie you no longer feel a part of. Friends call, and you see their name on the screen. The old you would have answered with a story, a mask, a performance of being okay. But the performer has left the stage, so you let it ring. The energy required to pretend is no longer available. You scroll through social media, seeing curated images of people living inside their intact stories, and it feels like watching a broadcast from another planet. There is no envy, no desire, just a flat, emotionless observation of a game you are no longer playing. And in this strange, barren landscape, a new understanding begins to dawn. You start to see that the self-respect you lost wasn't a fundamental truth of the universe. It was a construct. It was an agreement you made with yourself, a set of rules. I will not lie. I will not let people down. I will be strong. These rules were the blueprint for the house you built. When you broke one of your own cardinal rules, you didn't break reality. You didn't cause the sun to stop rising or the laws of physics to fail. You only broke your personal agreement. You invalidated your own private constitution. And in its absence, you are not left with nothing. You are left with what was underneath it all along. The raw, unfiltered mechanism of life itself. The part of you that breathes. The part that registers the cold floor on your feet. The part that digests food. This fundamental layer of existence doesn't operate on principles of honour or shame. It has a much simpler instruction. Continue. Just continue. Before you built your identity, before you learned your name, before you were told what was right and wrong, you were this, a biological process, a field of awareness. And when the elaborate story of you disintegrates, this is what you return to. It's not a glorious or heroic state. It feels empty. It feels meaningless. But there is a profound honesty in it. You are no longer performing for an inner judge. The judge has left the bench. All that remains is the simple, undeniable reality of the present moment. The sound of traffic outside, the taste of lukewarm coffee, the feeling of the chair beneath you. You thought your story was who you were. You thought your self-respect was the engine of your life. But the collapse of that story reveals a deeper truth. You are not the story. And the engine that truly runs the machine is something far more ancient and mysterious than your own approval. It's the current of life itself, flowing through you even when you believe you are unworthy of it. It doesn't ask for your permission. It doesn't require your respect. It simply is. And it carries you forward, one mechanical breath at a time, into a new and unknown territory where you must learn to live without a map. You are stripped bare, down to the very architecture of being. The question is no longer, who am I? The question is, what moves when I is gone? By the way, our shared space of light and awareness is on its way to 100,000 people. Thank you to everyone who subscribes and brings this moment closer. And so you begin to move through the world in this new way. You wash a dish. In the past, this was a transaction. You did a chore to earn a tiny hit of self-respect, the feeling of being a responsible adult who keeps their house in order. Or you did it resentfully, feeding a story of being overworked. Now there is no transaction. There is only the feeling of warm water on your hands, the scrape of the sponge against the plate, the sight of the soap bubbles. The act is just the act. It is stripped of all meaning. And in that stripping, it becomes incredibly pure. You go to your job, if you still have one. You perform your tasks, not for praise, not to climb a ladder, not to prove your worth. The desire for those things died with your old self. You do the work because it is what is in front of you to do. The sequence of actions unfolds. You answer an email, you fill out spreadsheets, you talk to a colleague, and you notice a strange lightness to it. When you aren't constantly trying to manage your own image, to perform your competence, an enormous amount of energy is freed up. The action is direct, unburdened. This is an honesty that is almost shocking to the system. It's the honesty of a river flowing or a tree growing. It does what it does without an internal critic or a cheerleader. It just is. And you're just doing. This is the first glimpse into how things work beneath the stories we tell. Reality isn't fueled by our ambition or our self-esteem. It's a self-sustaining current of cause and effect, and you have, for the first time, stopped fighting it and simply allowed it to carry you. in the profound silence left by the screaming inner judge, you start to hear something else. Or rather, you start to notice a quality of listening that was always there, but was drowned out by the noise. It's the observer. Think about it. When a wave of shame washes over you, who is it that is aware of the shame? When a thought appears saying, "You are worthless," who is it that hears that thought? It's not the thought itself. There is something else. A quiet, still, background awareness that simply witnesses it all. This observer has no opinion. It doesn't try to argue with the thought. It doesn't try to use the feeling of shame. It just watches. It registers the thought, like it registers the sound of a passing car. It registers the emotion, like it registers a change in the air temperature. It is impartial. And as you sit in the rubble of your life, this observer becomes more and more apparent. This is the great discovery. You thought you were the story, the personality, the collection of achievements and failures. You were wrong. You are the awareness in which all of that arises and passes away. This is the new ground. It's not made of achievement or other people's approval. It's not something you can build or earn. And therefore, it's not something you can lose. It is the fundamental architecture of your consciousness. It was here before your story began, and it is here now that your story has ended. Standing on this new ground, the world looks different. The need to be good or right dissolves. There is only what is. The pain is still there. The memories are still there. But you are no longer identified with them. You are the space in which they happen. This is the beginning of real freedom. Not the freedom to do whatever you want, but the freedom from having to be someone. This leads to a new understanding of courage. The world teaches us that courage is a grand, heroic act. It's fighting the dragon, leading the charge, speaking truth to power. It's a loud, visible, dramatic performance. But the courage you are discovering now is something else entirely. It's the quiet, profound, almost imperceptible courage of the next breath. When every cell in your body feels the weight of your own judgment, the choice to consciously inhale and then to exhale is an act of rebellion. It's a vote for life, cast in the face of absolute despair. It's the courage to make a cup of tea when you believe you deserve nothing. It's the courage to look out the window and notice the colour of the sky, allowing a moment of simple connection to reality without a justification. This isn't courage for a future reward. It's not about hanging in there because things will get better. That's another story. And you are done with stories. This is the courage of the immediate moment. The courage to exist right here, right now, in the wreckage, without a story to protect you, without a title to define you, without self-respect to fuel you. Just you and the raw, unfiltered fact of your own existence. This is a transformation that happens not through a great leap, but through an infinite series of tiny, almost invisible steps. The step from the bed to the floor, the step of raising a glass of water to your lips, the step of simply staying, not leaving. You are learning to live from a new centre, not from the fragile, constructed ego, but from the silent, unbreakable observer. You're not fixing the old house that fell. You're learning to live outside, under the open sky, grounded in the earth of what is real. And what is real is this moment, this breath, the simple, undeniable truth that against all odds, and despite your own verdict against yourself, you are still here. If this video changed something in you, write in the comments, "I am still here." Write it as your promise. Nobody